Gotta love my... I have ADD soon. Let's see. What has been the most surprising release from WWE or TNA recently? This is his second question. Petey Williams. Why would you get rid of Petey Williams? What is wrong with you? Exactly.
No, I'm trying to think of who they released recently that kind of surprised me from WWE. Because TNA, I agree, Petey Williams. The guy's pretty much an original, but unless it was his decision, I don't see why TNA would get rid of him. But I understand why they would get rid of him, because they got a guy working there named Vince LaRusso, or Vince Russo. I'll get his name right.
Quit thinking of NWA.
I'll get his name right one of these days, but it doesn't matter because he's worthless, like John Cena. So his name does not matter.
John Lacina.
They got a guy working there named Vince Russo, and he's gonna ruin TNA more than what it is, because they're doing this whole Millionaires Club Main Event Mafia thing already. But yeah, Petey Williams, that was a bunch of crap. WWE.
Lance Hoyt kind of made sense because they weren't doing the damn thing with him.
No. You know what? Tell you the truth, Val Venus surprised me when they released him.
Well, they don't have Sunday Night Heat anymore.
No, but
they do have Superstars coming up in April.
Yeah, they were working on Superstars, and Val wasn't he working backstage?
I don't think he was.
Actually. Slaughter Sergeant Slaughter and that Ron surprised me. Yeah, although all Ron Simmons did was say "damn"
for like a year and a half.
But that was awesome.
It was for the first Black World Champion, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So Slaughter and Simmons and Val Venus were the three that kind of surprised me. Petey Williams was the most surprising from TNA. Other than that, I'd care less who they release. It's all WWE, ECW, and WCW guys anyways.
Pretty much. This last question is from Eric. Do you think this will be the last WrestleMania for either The Undertaker or Shawn Michaels?
No.
No.
I told Greg, I bet you they have Undertaker go 20-0, and then 21 will be his last one. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't see Shawn stopping anytime soon. Not going to say in the next 5 years he'll decide to hang it up, but I don't see him stopping anytime soon. Especially not this year.
I think The Undertaker's going to go 20-0 and then retire. Like I said before, I don't think he's going to lose his streak. Shawn Michaels, there's still a lot left in him. I want to see him with the world title one more time. Like, I've been waiting for 6.5 years. He only had like a 3-4 week reign with a world title back in 2002.
Yeah.
Shawn deserves more than that.
Yeah, he does.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you notice a change of scenery. This wasn't planned. My camera happened to die while we were doing the top 5. So we are going to do the top 5 right now. And it's the top 5 heels of all time. Dave, if you start.
Number 5, I'm going to have to go with Jeff Jarrett. He was a real big influence, the biggest heel TNA had to offer, and I feel that even when he was Double J, and even in WCW, he was a huge heel influence, and I think he deserves to be in the top 5. Number 4, I'm going to have to go with probably Edge. I feel that Edge is a decent heel. He's been heel for about 4 or 5 years now. And I really couldn't see him going back to face. Number 3 would have to either be Stone Cold or Triple H, only because I like Stone Cold as a heel and the whole invasion angle. But Triple H was also a really good heel in the McMahon-Helmsley era and the
Evolution.
Yeah, in the Evolution era. Number 2 would be Randy Orton. I think he's the best heel WWE has right now. Probably the best heel they've had in a while. And number 1 is Vince McMahon, only because the whole Austin McMahon thing wouldn't have really been over as much if Vince wasn't such an arrogant heel and was such a good heel for the whole storyline. So I feel number 1 is Vince McMahon.
I actually had Mr. McMahon as my number 5 for pretty much the same reasons. And the only reason why I don't have him higher is because I think the actual wrestlers deserve the honor more. Mr. McMahon was an amazing heel and quite possibly one of the best that there ever was, but I didn't put him above several others. Number 4, I had Chris Jericho because he was the 2008 Superstar of the Year for a reason. He had one of the best feuds with Shawn Michaels, And that entire feud was amazing from, when did it start? Backlash, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, from around the time of Backlash to No Mercy. Maybe a little bit after, because the storyline with JBL started then. But Jericho was just amazing. I think his world title reigns were kind of... He had 2 world title reigns, but both of them were too short, in my opinion. Jericho deserved more than that. Not too bad for only being back with the company for a year. He won the world title twice. Number 3, I had the game Triple H. Evolution era, McMahon Helmsley era. Both were amazing for Triple H as a heel because he just made you want to hate him. Because, and for those of you who remember Jericho, quote-unquote, winning the title from him back in 2000, if you remember what they did to Earl Hebner, how they bullied Hebner into reversing the decision, and Hebner said as long as he's a referee, that they won't hurt him again. So Hebner agreed to that, reversed the decision, and then Triple H fired him. I mean, you can't get more heelish than that. Well, you could, but we'll go on with that later. Orton and Edge, not as rated RKO, but I had them tied at second. For the simple reason that Orton and Edge right now are quite possibly the best that they've ever been in their careers. And number 1, I had Hollywood Hulk Hogan with how much heat he generated just by turning heel, because nobody ever thought it was possible for Hogan to turn heel. And the fans jumped on the bandwagon and they hated him beyond belief. And just for Shorty Jr., just for him, I'm going to say that as an honorable mention, Vicky Guerrero. Hey, he said
I've
Vicky
never
Guerrero.
seen a diva generate so much heat, if you can qualify her as a diva. But I've never seen a manager, a GM, anything. I've never seen anyone like that generate that much heat. So yeah,
just
I'd
by
have to
showing
say,
up.
Yeah, I'd have to say honorable mention goes to Vicky Guerrero on both our parts.
Yeah, I find it amazing how much people get on Vicky Guerrero. She just shows up. She could show up, stand on stage for about 30 seconds, and leave, and probably generate more heat than anybody else on the show.
Yeah, probably, which is kind of funny.
Go figure that somebody who really has no wrestling experience other than being married to Eddie,
Right.
can generate that much heat. She's doing pretty well too. I gotta hand it to her. She's fallen into the GM role pretty well. A lot better than Mike Adamle.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary if you think about for how much actual background Adamle has in commentary and whatnot. American Gladiators. Hey, that counts. It counts for something.
I guess.
Anyway, next show we will probably be doing this weekend. It's a double show week for us to make up for how late this show was. So for the one and only David Source and myself, the Pennsylvania Sensation, Greg Cherry, this has been the Sensational Experience. And just for the record, we do this show. We go out of our way to do this show. It's not convenient for us. It happens. We don't do shows because we happen to be on our way home. Jeff. Anyway, I had to. Anyway, for both of us, if you don't like what we say, then your life is the pits. Deal with it. Because he's the sexy back champion. And I'm the sensation. And you've just experienced the sensation. See you next week.